You can't win. Accept it.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a really great game with an asterisk. I've been playing it on the Xbox One X, and I'm about 8 to 10 hours right around in there, and it's just been a fun time. So the story starts off as you playing as Cal, a Jedi Padawan that survived Order 66 and has been in hiding. And during this time, you have been a scrapper, just kind of making ends meet and doing a job, just trying to hide who you are and survive. Unfortunately, through some events, you get your secret revealed and hunted down by the second sister, who is part of the Empire hunting down Jedis. Right during your battle with the second sister, a ship pulls up and pulls you out of the situation. And aboard there are two characters that you're going to get to know very well, Suri and Grease. Both these characters are hoping that you could help rebuild the Jedi, not necessarily because they want the Jedi back, but because they feel that the Jedi are the only way to combat the Empire. Now, throughout your journey, you're going to be visiting several different planets and doing a little bit of backtracking now and again, and just following these puzzles to unlock the secrets behind Jedi Fallen Order. As a whole, this game has kind of been compared to a Souls-like with some Uncharted or Tomb Raider built into it, and to be honest, it's a very good representation, but it still holds on its own. Now, just because something is labeled a Souls-like shouldn't scare you away from it if you're not a fan of those kind of games. The main things they take away from the Souls series are really good ideas. So to start off with, throughout the maps, you're going to find meditation circles. These areas are going to be used to regain your stim packs, to spend your experience, and every time you rest to regain your health, it will respawn all the enemies that you have killed. Some other tropes is when you do happen to die, your experience is left over by the enemy that killed you. And the nice thing here is, once you get back to that enemy, all you have to do is damage to that enemy. You don't actually have to kill them or defeat them. So if it's a harder enemy, you get back to them and you hit them. As long as you do damage, you're going to get back all your stuff. And when it comes to fights, you're going to be watching your enemy's movements, looking for those precise times to attack, to block, and to parry. And these kind of tactics will have to be used pretty often when you're going up against all these different enemies that you're going to run into. Now, difficulty-wise, the nice thing this game offers is 4 different modes. You can go as simple as story mode, which will just kind of be for you to experience the game, and very light combat or very easy interactions with enemies. And as you progress through the different levels, each of those situations get more difficult, so more precise parrying times. Now, the section of Uncharted/Tomb Raider is you're going to be doing a lot of exploring. You're going to backtrack a bit. You're going to have to come back to certain areas when you have certain force powers, which we'll touch on lightly here in a moment. And that allows you to open up these passageways and either create new shortcuts or find items inside there that'll be used to upgrade yourself, or even just change your appearance. There's also going to be times you're going to find story bits strung out across the world as echoes, and these will give you past interactions that people have had in that situation and let you listen in to see what exactly happened, and just adds a little more depth to the world itself. Speaking of the world, all the environments are gorgeously done. They did such a great job on how everything looks, feels, and reacts. You're going to be going from everything from dilapidated ships to more hillsides and these little villages. And there's just so much going on, but it feels so at home in the Star Wars franchise. And when you're inside your ship, you can see all the little details that they put into it. And it just feels great, is the best thing I can describe it. It's like, wow, they put some time into this, and it's much appreciated. Character models also look really great, and enemy models do. When you're in these cutscenes and you're talking, everybody looks good, minus the Wookiees. I mean, these things are nightmare fuel, let's be honest here. Ugh, it just creeps me out every time I have to look at them. Ugh. Either way, the Stormtrooper models look great, and they're so much fun to interact with. There's going to be times you're going to be interacting with these enemies that at first they're like, yeah, we got him, oh, he's on the run, if you start backing up too much. And as soon as you start killing them, they start freaking out a little bit. They start going, okay, come on, get it together, or watch your blaster fire, focus up on the target. He's too fast for me, or his movement's too quick. It's just how they react to you as a person. It's so welcomed, and it feels great because there are times that there's one guy left, and he's like, all right, I've got this. I can get him. He's really trying to pump himself up, and you're just going to kill him like everybody else. But so far, all the characters, when it comes to voice acting, have been great to listen to and interact with. I love Cal, and I love the crew as well. Everybody just does such a good job here, and you can really feel their emotions. Sound effects in the world, when it comes to the ships taking off, to landing, to blaster fire, to the lightsaber battles.
Go get him! Someone else take him down! Look out! You betcha! You can't beat us all! He's mine! Yeah, someone else take a hit! Sit back, I've got this!
It's like butter to toast, and it just feels so good yet again. The sound quality is on par. Blaster fire sounds so great, and when you hear the clashing of two lightsabers happen, you feel at home. When it comes to combat, you're going to run into a little bit of sluggishness, I feel like. I wish it was a little more fluid, but it works well enough. You're going to be having plenty of times to have to block and parry at certain points when you're fighting troopers with batons, to blaster fire from the troopers standing behind, and really trying to focus on what is most important at that moment. And there are going to be times that, you're going to feel like maybe you should have parried a little faster there or a little bit slower, and it's just that timing. Now, my biggest concern is when you run into animals. I don't know if they make their telegraphed moves imperfect for animal reasons, or if it's just because that's how they are. Just note that if you are fighting animals, sometimes their moves can be quite mistelegraphed. Now, during combat, you will unlock abilities for additional types of attacks to your force powers of slowing enemies down, pushing, and pulling so far. There might be others, but those are the ones I've unlocked, and they're all safe bets. It's really fun to push enemies off the ledge, slow down somebody, go up there and hit him while you're bouncing things back. It can be almost like a ballet if it was just a little more fluid, but it works well enough when you incorporate all the elements. Now, playing this on the Xbox One X, I have experienced some issues. Frame rates have dropped from time to time, and just yesterday I ran into a whole situation of my game locked up for probably at least 5+ seconds. I almost thought the whole game was frozen. It literally just locked up while I was jumping in air, and I was getting concerned I was going to have to power off the whole machine. It eventually worked itself out, but it was kind of frustrating to see that happen. Also, I've run into some weird AI situations. Either they don't react to me hitting them. I fought many ATSTs that just stand there while I slice them. They don't know what to do, and they just kind of just like, all right, I'm just going to stand here and wait. And I've had that happen on some Stormtrooper situations as well. They don't react to you, or they just don't care. I don't know what happens there. I've had a couple issues with some loading textures, but for the most part, that kind of stuff has worked fine. And I have seen some reports of people falling through the world. Personally, I have not experienced that yet. Now, during your exploration, you will use BD1, which is the coolest robot that I've met yet. And he will help you either traverse certain areas of zip lines. He'll help you shock certain robots and turn them onto your side, to unlocking specific doors. And he'll also be used to open up all these chests you find around. Now, the nice thing is that these chests tend to just carry cosmetic items, things that make your character look different, give BD1 a new skin, or the big customization here is upgrading your lightsaber, where you can change several parts to it, plus add different colors. And these are all built into the game. You don't have to buy a special currency or in-game microtransactions to make this happen. You just find them. And it's sad that we have to tote that nowadays, but it's the truth. So the great thing is you can go to a workbench, put a green crystal into it, and all of a sudden you have a green lightsaber. And then you can come back later, put in a blue one. It's all up to whatever you want to do. While it is a small customization because you really don't get to see it that closely, it is a nice touch. And you will be doing quite a bit of backtracking because you'll want to go back and see what is hiding behind this area that I couldn't get to before. I find myself often going back through these old areas going, I can now get through here. I can force pull this down and cross finally. And actually throughout the game, slight spoiler, you'll actually be able to unlock the double-sided lightsaber. And this is during an exploration time of just going back through an area going, oh, where did this go? Oh, look, a brand new item. And now you have 2 lightsabers, which back on the combat with that one is it's more for crowd control where you can reflect a lot more. It doesn't deal quite as much damage, but it's a nice effect and a nice way to change up the gameplay a bit. Now, to kind of wrap things up, solid story, great voice actors and actresses, beautiful looking world, awesome looking character models, solid enemy types, which there are several you're going to run into, and a few performance issues here and there. I have to say that I am super happy to finally see a single player Star Wars game not only look good, function well, but just be this much fun. I want to give huge kudos to finally seeing a single player Star Wars game. Something that fans have been asking for years. And we finally have it, and I have to say, so far, it's been living up to my expectations, and then some. So that wraps up our first impressions for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. If you'd like to see some more content, click the link to your left. That'll take you to a playlist of either other first impressions or the no commentary playthrough that's going on for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And if you love this and you want to see some more, that'll take you to the channel itself where we have tons of videos going on over there. And until next time, you guys, stay frosty.